another Monday evening here, and it's time for some more SSL Premier. My name is Wolf. With me is Valdez, and we're going into Week 2 of Season 2 for 2017, and it is going to be a great season. We've already had amazing matches in our Week 1, and now we're moving into Week 2.
Yeah, I just love this format. Every day we get to see the same 10 players going head-to-head just in different matchups, and we got a bunch of them tonight that are going to be mirror matchups. I know sometimes people aren't too happy about those, but I feel like they're pretty exciting in the ones that they are. We're going to be starting off with Byul versus Solar. I think it should be pretty close.
That's right. And, of course, do remind everyone we are on Twitch. We've updated our platforms here on Twitch and on YouTube in English and in Korean for YouTube, if you wanted to watch that broadcast instead of ours for some reason. Our Korean commentators here on stage as they're about to introduce us to the Korean fans, and then you guys will see our beautiful faces. We're not being hidden.
Yeah, we're just waiting. We're just waiting for that.
Yeah. So we got a lot of good matches. My favorite, though, is going to be Classic versus Maru, personally.
I think it's definitely going to be the closest one, and definitely extremely high level. I definitely do like Dark versus Hero as well. I think those two definitely on top for sure.
Yeah. Also, the starting match, Byul versus Solar, the rematch of the playoffs for last season. That's Zerg versus Zerg there. So it's us. We're here. Yeah.
There we are. So now you guys can actually see us.
Yeah. So
now you can't see us anymore. We're gone. that was it.
Now we put us on Korean TV there for just a moment. And so anyways, going into the matches today, it's mostly mirror matchups, as you mentioned. Dark versus Hero, the other one that's not. That's going to be a really good one. And then Alive versus Innovation should be a pretty sick match, too. Alive, pretty inconsistent in the TVT matchup, but sometimes he is really on point, and perhaps he can bring some cool builds to throw wrenches into the gears of Innovation. His heavy macro-based play and timing attack-based play. So those are the highlight matches for the night for sure. So we'll have some ZVZs. A ZVZ is a PvP and a TVT, so one mirror matchup of each, I should say, as we head into tonight's best of threes. This is, if you're tuning in for the first time for SSL, it's actually a round-robin format. It is not a tournament format, so it's basically a league. So you end up with each player playing against each other player, and then at the end of that league rotation, we go into playoffs of the players that qualify.
Yeah, and Innovation on top. Alive did get bopped last week by Dark. But either way, guys, we're going to have to stop that talk. Let's go ahead and meet the players.
All right, so our first matchup of the night, of course, will be between Byul and Solar, the rematch of the series that went all the way to Game 5 in the playoffs. We had several playoff games last season make it to that fifth and final game. It was Solar, though, who advanced to the grand finals. Byul looking really strong throughout that run of SSL, though, in the regular season. And here are our standings so far. So we've updated this to show you how much prize money the players have earned, because a 2-0 will grant you that $800. That's approximately $700 for a 2-1, and then losing 1-2 is $300, and losing 0-2 is $200.
Yeah, I like that they actually put the numbers up on screen for everybody to see, because, I mean, this is pretty much the first time we've had this format with the prize money, at least over at SSL, and it's cool for people to actually get the numbers in their head of exactly how much money they're making day to day. And it's going to be pretty funny to see, if Innovation has just as good a run, to have him on top, and you guys can see exactly how much money he's made over the course of this entire thing.
Yeah, that's right. So let's take a look at these head-to-heads for these two. Obviously, very closely matched players, 18-16 and Legacy of the Void, so a lot more relevant data. I mean, you look at the other ones, you're looking at Alive and Byul, two ex-Fnatic members. If you're looking at back into Wings of Liberty, when Fnatic still had a StarCraft 2 squad. So these guys did practice together and live together in a team house in Korea a long time ago, but they've always been very evenly matched here. I don't know why I just said Alive. We're looking at Solar here. Never mind.
Yeah.
Completely what I just said. So anyway, this is ZVZ. Alive popped into my head for some reason.
Erase it from your mind, guys. It never happened.
I never said that. All right. So anyway, I don't know why I said that. So that fact is true. Alive and Byul, former teammates, not playing against each other tonight, though. It is going to be the ZVZ.
They will eventually.
Yes.
That point does stand for like week 6. But not for week 2 here.
All right, rough start here. Drop the ball. So if you look at the matches, speaking of that will face off against each other, it'll be the second to last match for Byul. This new stats that we have to the bottom of your screen will show the order in which they will play against each and every other player. So 9 matchups per player with 10 players in the round robin.
So it's week 8 where he's going up against Alive. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, so second to last time we will face, and then we'll be able to track the progress of the players throughout the tournament as in each and every one of their matchups. So Solar here, not Alive, his opponent, is going to look to repeat his performance that he had in Zerg versus Zerg against him. And he did, of course, win Season 2 for 2016. In this very matchup, it was against Dark where he was able to take that. So he's an SSL champion and made it to the grand finals, so he's a defending finalist of SSL here for 2017.
Yeah, I think overall it is going to be a pretty close matchup between these two guys, but I would give the slight edge to Solar. You know, we talked about it a bit in our After Hours video that me and Wolf did. You can catch that on YouTube, but basically we just feel like he had a really good run against him in the playoffs of Season 1 here at SSL, even though it was really close, was the 3-2. I feel like also Solar, I feel like he's just the more smart ZVZ player. Like, I feel like he will just know what to do in certain situations. I feel like he could read Byul a little bit better when it does come to this matchup.
Yeah, and obviously taking the first win in the best of 3 ZVZ gives you the mental edge, especially if you do it with an early pool or something like that. And I feel like that might be where Byul could get an edge if he can execute it, but Solar is very good at reading a best of 3 like this, or a best of 5 even. So we're going to go ahead and jump into game number 1 here in just a moment. The map, of course, is going to be Overgrowth for this first game. Let's jump into it here right now on the SSL Premiere.
Fly, butterfly, tin air.
You did it. I was going to say it afterwards. You did it for. All right, to the top right, of course, our starting player here in red will be Byul. And his opponent to the bottom left in blue is Solar. Doing a little bit of hosting today as Valdez is feeling a little under the weather.
Yeah, I've just got a little bit of a cold in the summer. It happens. It's been raining a lot, so forgot to bring my umbrella. I was outside for a while in the rain, and that's the way the cookie crumbles. So
yeah, unlucky,
here I am. Just a small cold. You guys who are very intimately knowing my voice, you probably will tell the difference, but most people can't, I don't think.
Yeah. Well, if the cookie crumbles, it's one soggy cookie right now here in Seoul, as it is monsoon season. It is raining cats and dogs every day, all night. So if you're into that kind of thing, it's a good time to be here.
Yeah, if you really love it raining cats and dogs.
Like I like the occasional rain, you know, maybe once a month rain. I'm in my house playing video games, rain gives me, you know, it helps me sleep better at night, rain, but after day 4 you're starting to wonder, all right, is it ever going to stop?
Yeah, I mean, the rain itself is kind of annoying, but the real terribleness is when it starts getting ultra windy, when the actual monsoon hits, because then everybody buys these super cheap umbrellas that cost about $5, but they're made of like the thinnest plastic you've ever seen and these tiny metal wires. So the second you just move the umbrella in one wrong direction, one wrong move, and your umbrella is going to go inside out, and then you won't have an umbrella for the monsoon that's raining on you.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a problem.
Came here from Australia. And
says he loves the casters.
He loves the casters.
Once assigned. So Solar, I said it before, he definitely is one of these tricky players, and he is going for a hidden base in the bottom right.
Yep, I mean, already starting off with his build, his sort of idea here. They both going to take different paths to the same outcome until that variation, until the branching paths of builds here. So as a result, he didn't make gas. He actually kept drones out of gas to mine additional minerals, which would give him the extra 300 to buy that hatchery to the bottom right. whereas Byul, of course, back at home has mined quite a bit of gas. And Byul is known for his meterless play in this matchup, but in other matchups as well. And that's why instead of even getting Link speed, he's just going to go directly into the lair, pulling up a ton of gas. In fact, before doing so, now at 100 bonus gas, he's just building up towards those meters. Denying the scout is super important, and he will get it off, or rather get the deny off. It's a weird way to phrase it, but not getting in that main base.
Yeah. Gonna keep him out for now. No Roach Warren at the front, which at least Solar was able to scout with the Lynx. Generally, if you wanted to be super safe, you could try to get a full wall at the front with a couple of Evo Chambers and that Roach Warren. He's going for it now and is actually upgrading the +1 to missile weapon. So we could see some kind of Roach timing as well as a follow-up with Roach speed with that lair. We'll just have to wait and see. I mean, you are definitely right that Byul is the guy that will make the mutas more than any other Zerg, especially in this matchup, but definitely leading towards Roaches. Could just be a safety Roach Warren, too.
Yeah, it definitely looks to be that is the plan here. Well, I mean, he's getting the +1 for missiles right now, so with the Evo Chamber completing, it's just definitely looking towards a faster Roach speed +1 timing attack. That seems to be the idea. Doesn't know about the third base, I don't believe. But if he did, he would be very happy about it because it might actually lead him to hit this attack a little bit at a crisp time where Solar can't reinforce on that third base, doesn't have any tech. He's getting his own very delayed Roach Warren lair and +1, but the timings of all of this are going to line up well for him. He's going to take the gold base here as well. It is scouted, but this gold base can't really be punished right now by Solar. It's going to give him some extra minerals and a faster rally point for his Roaches to attack across the map. And I'm liking Byul's position. If he knew about the third base, I'd like it even more, but he's going to perhaps not overcommit here because he's operating under the pretense that this is some sort of weird 2-base coming out from Solar. That's why he's going to scout with the Overseer now.
Yeah, I really like the build that Byul has chosen for this map for Overgrowth. Definitely is very good for all the things you said. It's just he needs to hit a very crisp timing because if he gives Solar enough space to actually use the extra minerals that he's getting from that third base that he got very early, then Solar will eventually just have more Roaches, and definitely could be a bit of trouble. Solar, though, is taking a fourth base now down here. He hasn't taken the gold at all, as Byul has scouted.
Ooh, and this third base actually is just going to make him think less likely there's even a fourth. I mean, you just don't ever take a base like this in ZVZ. This is so abnormal that for Byul to check it would be even stranger. So he's starting the +2 now, but he is moving across the map with his first Roaches. No drones transferred actually to that third base just yet. Going to feed a Roach here. But he is coming across to try to hit this third base. Luckily for Solar, this isn't really his real third base. He just canceled it.
Yeah.
So
he's like, okay, I mean, you got me. You're ahead of me. That's what he wants Byul to think.
Yeah, he's faked him out here quite a bit. Just going to show this drone here again, and Byul is going to continue to operate under the impression that he's up an extra base with that gold base. So he's probably feeling amazing right now. Also knowing his opponent doesn't have Roach speed, he's like, is this game just over? Did I win? What went wrong for you, Solar?
Well, I think that drone might have been going to the bottom right base. I'm not sure if Byul caught that slight movement. It looks like it was slightly off on the angle to go to the fourth, but is going to take that now. And yeah, I mean, you could see it in the supply. Solar, he's had more drones for a much longer time. That third base has been up for about 2 extra minutes compared to the third base of Byul.
And now he has more Roaches than his opponent already, as you predicted. And Byul just is unable to get a read on this. And now he's going to be like, wait a minute, you have more Roaches than me, and you're even on upgrades with me, and you were down a base, and I have a gold base. How could this be? But still hasn't been able to figure it out, hasn't been able to identify that the base of the bottom right has taken. And the longer this goes on, the better it is for Solar, especially because the upgrades are going to finish. He's going to be up an extra base, and that gold base for Byul is going to be very short term. It doesn't last as long as a regular blue base mineral patch, or blue mineral patch base. So I don't know, man. Byul just, maybe he tries to hit something with +2 here, but otherwise he might be out of luck. He's going to go for the attack now. He's just barely up in Roaches.
I mean, I feel like Byul, he's just been tricked. He's been bamboozled. And Solar definitely got away with this. And you can see that Byul is kind of unconfident, not so confident here to take the attack. just seeing the number. He might go for it with +2, and this is definitely going to be his big timing.
This is his only chance, really. He's down in roaches. He's got a lot of reinforcements coming up. He's got, I think, a few more roaches in total, but with the long reinforcement time, not necessarily going to matter. Solar already has his Ravagers set up here, too. He'll start firing off these Byls. And the +2 advantage here does show in terms of how quickly he's able to kill these blue roaches. But the defender's advantage is going to be so real here for Solar.
Solar, he walked forward into a bunch of corrosive Byls because he was so confidently taking that fight. You could see that his supply is falling pretty fast.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have the +2 yet.
Even with that defender's advantage, just because he fought straight into +2 roaches so confidently and ate those Byls, it turns into an extremely close fight, and it looks like Solar has taken the worst end of this one.
Yeah. Now, if he could save one of these 2 bases, he might be able to recover still, but looks so unlikely as now reinforcements are getting cut off. Byul is reinforcing so quickly across the map, and he just has this advantage. He needs to maintain it a little bit longer. Transfuse being used here to try to win the longer fight. +2 is about to finish, and he saves both bases here. So right now he needs to continue this momentum, but I just don't know if he can. The Queen's here coming out as well.
He needs that +2 so much, but it might just be numbers at this point. Solar, though, does have those roaches popping out, and the Queen's in the back actually doing a nice bit of DPS. He's trying to hold on.
I think he will. He just got
much.
So many transfuses, the reinforcing roaches, and the trickle coming in here for Byul.
He has his +2
now.
He's got the +2, and Byul is not going to win that fight.
Oh man, it's got to feel bad right now if you're Byul, right, or a Byul fan, because you just didn't know. He just couldn't have known. It was so unreasonable for Solar to do what he did. He got away with it. And even though Byul saw signs, no third base, late Roach Warren, late Roach Speed, late upgrades, he saw all these signs. So, okay, you have the same amount of roaches as me pretty much, and you still only are down a base. How does this make sense? He saw the signs, but he couldn't put the pieces together to figure out that was a 4th base to the bottom right, and now he finds himself down massively in supply. The 4th base he's making is not even completed yet.
His gold base is running out, too. I mean, Solar's base in the bottom right is still mining pretty healthily, and he still has his gold base to take later on. So definitely in a great spot to just go for the Remax. As Solar, he has matched in the upgrades at this point, and I think it's going to be a matter of him just remaxing, getting to 200, moving across the map. Maybe take the gold base as you do. But Byul, he got caught in the middle of the map at the same time, so this might just be the end of it.
Yeah, it looks like it very likely will. Just not having his entire army together here. Had a harass force out in the middle of the map. Split off here, and this is going to be the crushing blow. GG. And feels bad right now if you're Byul, because you had all these unlikely scenarios that he was trying to figure out what was going on. Is he teching the Mutalisk? He sent the Overseer across, saw the third base, and I think that was the most clever part of all for Solar. As soon as he saw the Overseer scout coming across, made a third base in his face, so Byul was like, okay, this is a weird timing, but I guess he has a third now. And he doesn't have a coach. He doesn't have someone. He's teamless. He doesn't have someone to go in his booth and say, this is what happened. And this is why you were so behind. This is why you were unable to, outproduce roaches, even though under the assumptions you had, you thought you were ahead, you were not. And so now he's in there alone. He doesn't even necessarily know what happened, and he can't watch the replay. So he's just in there going,
Yeah, I think if you go down there and you see the 4th base, you might just know. Because if you're looking at the numbers and you see that he is behind and you have the +2 ahead of him and you had that chance to win, but you were just a little bit too late. And that was one of the few times when I saw Byul on camera where I was actually like, oh man, he actually looks pissed. Yeah. When usually he's pretty emotionless, or he's got like a little smirk on, or he just doesn't really show much, but he actually looked pretty angry. So
yeah, you could see the way he typed out GG using 2 hands there on the keyboard, pulled his mouse hand off, and Byul also is a player who doesn't really lose his cool unless it's a high-stakes match, right? We've seen him lose his cool in grand finals over the years, but I think you are right. It's likely he put 2 and 2 together at the very end of that game. but he doesn't know exactly how greedy that was. He doesn't know exactly the state in which and all that
how
happened.
early he took it. I think if Byul just attacked right when he had like the +1 speed timing, as I was talking about, I think that was his one moment to take the game, because Byul, or rather Solar, should not have gotten away with that.
Yeah, that's why I was saying
it was super greedy.
I would have liked everything about his position if he knew about the hatchery, because he would know exactly what to do. Could either crush the hatchery, destroy it, and completely shut it down, kill a bunch of drones, get his own third base from there, or use the gold base he was already planning on making, or just attack and win the game, which was a very likely outcome. Sure, maybe Solar musters up a defense with some spine crawlers or something like that, but pretty unlikely, right? It was kind of hoping that Byul just wouldn't know what was going on, think, wow, 2-base versus 2-base, I probably shouldn't just attack into him. He's probably going to have a lot of stuff. He just didn't figure it out quickly enough. So we're going to go into our second map, which I believe is Ascension to Ire.
Yeah, we're ascending onto the new game. Second game, rather. And, it definitely hurts to be tricked like that in game number 1. That's like the big, the big hurt for him. Sure, he can come back. Definitely has got a decent chance. And we are going to be jumping into that very, very soon as the music has started.
Indeed. Match point here for Solar. And it's not a GSL group stage. You don't get multiple chances every week. You've got one best of 3, one shot against your opponent. You prepared 7 days or 6 days, really, I suppose, for this specific matchup. This best of 3, you've known the maps in advance. You're going into this one. You lose 0-2 in a ZBZ like this. That's it. See you next week. This is not like you goes to loser's match, has a second chance. This is all about this second game to bring us to a game number 3. And we're going to jump into Ascension to Ire right now to find out if he can do it. Fly, better fly. Jin Air. As we head into Ascension to Ire. To the top left in red is our Zerg player Byul, down 0-1. And to the bottom right in blue, it is of course his opponent Solar with the hidden hatchery tech to the bottom right, taking an early lead. Silence falls in the studio, and I'm the only one shouting. But as we head into the second game, a longer rush distance. This is not going to be the map where you're hitting specific timing attacks that early, like Byul tried to pull off in the last game. It's going to be a map where we certainly see faster third bases.
Yeah, I mean, this might be the map where Byul would expect Solar to hide a base or do something funky. Overgrowth is the smallest map in the map pool that we have right now, and he got away with it. Kind of just using the idea of the map against Byul, perhaps, because no one in their right mind would do that. But he's definitely going for a more aggressive build this time around. I feel like Solar definitely has thought out the different builds for the maps and has come into this one very practiced.
So second base coming up here first, whereas Solar is going for one base quite heavily. Likely see the Baneling Nest added here if he really wants to continue with this. He's continuing to mine gas fully. He'll probably add that in just a second. So looks to be going for a one base timing of some kind, and actually making a ton of lings at the same time. There's the Baneling Nest started.
Yeah.
So it's just going to be Ling Baneling here to close it out. And unlikely, this is another crafty move by Solar, an unlikely tactic for a long rush distance map like Ascension to Ire, and he is just bringing it in right away. So
yeah, as I said, I mean, he's crafted very special builds for the maps, and Byul has not seen anything. I don't think he's seen any lings. Will he even see these? Oh, he sees the corner of the 2 lings, immediately starts a Baneling Nest. We'll see if he can prepare on time.
Now, this is the kind of moment where is your Bill, you feel really good. You feel like, okay, I've got the hit. I'm not going to take any chances. I'm making the Baneling Nest. I've already got my speed coming up. And it was not an insanely greedy opening for Byul either, so it's actually absolutely reasonable for him to hold this as long as he micros well for the first attack before he has his Banelings out. He needs to maintain a Ling count because he's going to be down in Lings. Obviously, half the Lings really of Solar right now. Here comes the first wave.
Here we go. And a lot of Lings aren't being made here by Byul now. He's got 8 on the way. And a nice positioning on the Baneling Nest, too. There's a lot of corners there where you can get queens in position. There's the second queen.
Nice. This is such a great position for these queens. Sure, he loses control of the ramp, but he's planning on holding with Baneling, so he's not too concerned. But these Banelings do get canceled here. Queen just popped out. Doesn't have enough for a transfuse here.
Oh, the Banelings coming in here. They hit all the Lings! And that was Bill's one saving grace. He's got 2 Banelings on the way.
And he is just absolutely crushed now. No way he defends anymore. Making Lings here in small counts. Another good Baneling hit. The drones are out to fight now, but he's got no money, no mining. We'll send these home, but this is lights out, essentially. 3 Banelings morphing in his base. And if the drones...
hits, does get just 3 Lings, and still more Lings pouring across the map here for Solar. Byul does
he needs
have
to get
more...
that Baneling, actually. He's
yeah,
not going to target it.
Byul does have the double hatchery, so he does have more larvae to make stuff work here. A couple extra drones, too. So it looks like he has held on for now.
Another Baneling traded for 2 Lings there. Solar really all-in with this. He's not transitioning. These are small advantages he's getting with these Baneling hits, not the big ones he really needs to close this one out. And he targeted down a lot of drones instead of targeting down Lings, so ended up finding himself just a little bit behind in drones, but a lot behind in terms of production. Okay, that was a good 1 for 2.
Yeah, 1 for 2 in favor of Solar here. Another really big hit.
Huge mistake by Byul. He surrounded the Baneling with his Lings.
That might be the one that might be the nail in the coffin.
Yeah. The 2 Banelings are not noticed, but he just types it out. Wow. Solar, 2 crisply executed builds, takes the 2-0. And that's CVZ for you. You get ahead in the mind games. You do the build that no one would expect on Ascension to Ire. You take the risky 1-base Baneling all in. Byul scouts it, gets the Baneling Nest up, but perhaps in his flustered defensive nature there, messes up his control a few times, loses 2 huge sets of Lings to Banelings. And, I mean, that's how it all comes to an end, so nothing more special to say about that. There were a few mistakes by Solar, I think, as well, at the kind of mid to late part of that engage, but overall, that last hit was the last nail in the coffin. And Byul just didn't have enough.
Byul was like struggling to push his way out, but then Solar was just like, no, die. And he got it. But I feel like Byul almost like let him do it. He's like, okay, here you go. I'll just give you all my Lings. So Byul not in a good spot right now. He lost to Classic. He lost to Solar. And this guy was, I think he was in 2nd place, right?
Yeah.
In season number 1. This guy having not the greatest start.
No, definitely not. Also, now 0-4, not only losing both matches, but losing both with a 2-0 score.
I think he lost to Classic 1-2.
Oh, I have the wrong info on my sheet then. But regardless, yeah, that's right, because it was the charge, the charge zealot timing attack there in Game 3. But anyways, so still not good. 1-4 there at the end. But the point of all of this, though, is that ZVZ is a very volatile matchup. Anything can happen. You can have these intelligent attacks that are, even if it fails, because it's a pretty unlikely thing that you would do on that map, he still has Game 3, right? So he closes the series out 2-0, very fast, best of 3. Before we go into our second one, though, we are going to take a quick commercial break. We'll see you guys in just a few minutes.